Welcome to The Explainer. We break down the big questions, and today we're tackling maybe the biggest one of all. Are we alone in the universe? You know, this classic quote, it just hits you, right? Arthur C. Clarke totally nailed it. He framed the whole thing perfectly. Because, think about it. Either answer yes or no is world-changing. It completely redefines our place in the cosmos. It's terrifyingly profound. Okay, so before we jump into looking for aliens, we actually have to take a step back. We have to ask an even deeper question. Why is life even possible in the first place? And that leads us down this rabbit hole called cosmic fine-tuning. It's pretty wild. So what is cosmic fine-tuning? Well, it's this idea that our whole reality is balanced on a knife's edge. An astrophysicist, Luke Barnes, put it great. He said our universe has a rare talent for making stuff like stars and planets, and eventually, us. It's not just something that was bound to happen. The fact that it can happen at all, well, that's the real mystery we need to explain. Okay, think of it like this. The universe has a giant sound mixing board, right? But instead of controlling music, its 31 knobs control the laws of physics. And scientists have figured out that if you just barely touch about 10 of those knobs, I'm talking a tiny, tiny nudge to things like gravity or the weight of an electron, the whole cosmic symphony goes silent. You get a universe with no stars, no planets, and definitely no life. Just a boring, endless fog of hydrogen. That's it. So this discovery kicks off this huge debate. I mean, what do you make of it? On one hand, you have people saying, look, this is just too perfect. It looks like a setup, like the universe was designed for us. That's the privileged planet idea. But on the other hand, you have people saying, nope, it's just dumb luck. We just happened to win a cosmic lottery with odds so insane we can't even wrap our heads around them. Now, the big counter-argument to all this fine-tuning talk is pretty simple, and it's sometimes called the fish in water problem. Imagine a fish suddenly becoming self-aware. It would look around and say, wow, water is perfectly designed for me to live in. Well, duh, of course it is. If it wasn't, the fish wouldn't be there to notice. We are that fish. The universe is our water. But, and this is the really important part, that fish analogy kind of misses the deeper question. It's not just about why we are in a place that supports life. The real head-scratcher is, why is there a universe with water in it at all? Why does a universe that can support life even exist to begin with? That's the core of the fine-tuning puzzle.
Okay, so let's say the universe is built for life. If that's the case, it raises a huge and maybe even more famous question. Where is everybody? This is the Fermi paradox. You've probably heard of it. The physicist Enrico Fermi was the one who famously asked, so where is everybody? And it's also called the Great Silence. I mean, you look up in the night sky, you think about the billions of galaxies, the trillions of planets, and all we hear is nothing. The silence is just deafening. It's downright eerie. So why the silence? Well, here's one theory that's kind of hilarious because it's so normal. It's called the bored aliens theory. What if aliens aren't these godlike super beings? What if they're just a bit more advanced than us? Like maybe they have an iPhone 42 while we're stuck on the 17. They probably sent out some probes, looked around their cosmic neighborhood, saw a bunch of empty rocks, and just went, meh. And then they gave up on big, expensive space exploration. They got bored. But then you have the complete opposite idea. Professor Michael Garrett suggests something way more adventurous. What if they're not bored at all? What if they've become so incredibly advanced, maybe they've even ditched their biological bodies, that they've just slipped beyond our ability to even see them? To our primitive senses, they could be literally everywhere, operating on some level of reality we don't even know exists. Now that's a wild thought. Okay, let's play this out. Let's say we do make contact one day. What happens then? What are they going to be like? Are we talking friends or foes? Should we be rolling out the welcome mat or hiding? And really, there are two main schools of thought here. You've got the optimists. They say, hey, for any species to survive long enough to travel between stars, they must have figured out how to not blow themselves up. They'd have to be past things like war and violence. But then you've got the cautious camp. They bring up the dark forest idea, that in a silent universe, the smartest thing to do is shoot first and ask questions later. Or maybe they wouldn't even be hostile, just indifferent. They might look at us the way we look at ants on the sidewalk. We're just not that important. But here's a really sharp point I saw in an online discussion. It's a great nuance. What if their definition of good or helpful is completely alien to ours? I mean, their idea of benevolence might look like our worst nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. Just think about the Borg from Star Trek. From their point of view, they're doing everyone a favor. They're improving you by adding you to their perfect collective. For them, it's an act of empathy. But for any individual person, it's absolute horror. Benevolence isn't always what it seems.
Okay, so everything we've talked about so far has been pretty much theoretical, right? Fun thought experiments, sci-fi stuff. But something's changed. In just the last few years, this whole conversation has exploded out of the realm of speculation and landed smack in the middle of official government business. It's a huge deal.
I mean, just look at how fast this has happened. It all kicked off in 2017 with that bombshell New York Times story about the Pentagon's secret UFO program. And from there, it's been a whirlwind. Suddenly we've got official reports from the Director of National Intelligence, and now we have the US Congress holding actual hearings on this stuff. The topic went from the fringe to the front page almost overnight. That's a massive, massive shift.
And you might have noticed a change in the language, too. Everybody's talking about UAPs now, not UFOs. According to investigative journalist Leslie Kean, that was a very deliberate move. The term UFO comes with so much baggage, right? Flying saucers, little green men. By rebranding them as unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, it basically gave everyone permission, pilots, politicians, scientists, to talk about it seriously without being laughed out of the room. It was a PR move, but a necessary one.
So what did these official reports actually say? Well, here's the kicker from that big 2021 report. It established, officially, that these things are real. They are physical objects, and, this is the big part, they are not secret US tech, and there's no evidence they're Russian or Chinese either. So, all the easy explanations, pretty much off the table.
And that's where we are right now. We're standing on the edge of a massive paradigm shift. The official question isn't, are UFOs real anymore? The question now is, okay, they're real, so what are they? And what does their presence here mean for all of us? It seems the great cosmic silence might not be so silent after all.